Hey everybody, welcome to First Stop News. If you like animals, this is the show for you because we've got pandas, we've got penguins, and we've got a Stegosaurus. We are stacked. So let's dive right in with big news about a little critter.
There's a species of frog in Brazil that could be setting new records as the world's smallest vertebrate, which is an animal that has a backbone. Researchers in Brazil discovered this frog back in 2011, and they named it the flea toad. So, just how small is this frog? Do you think it's the size of a pea or a quarter?
I gotta think about this one. So a quarter is like, yay big? Something like that?
It's a big quarter.
Is it a big quarter? That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
so
like a token.
And then a pea, oh, it's gotta be a pea. A pea's way smaller than a quarter.
Yeah, I was thinking it's a pea, like the size of the toothpaste.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that like the right amount?
Mm-hmm.
I use way too much toothpaste.
Me too. But Larry and I were correct, and we hope you were too. It is the size of a pea. And in some cases, even smaller. It's around 7 millimeters long. That's less than half of an inch. They're so small, their hands only have room for 3 fingers. And researchers think their ears are so underdeveloped that they might not be able to hear.
After almost 5 pandaless years, the bears are officially back at the San Diego Zoo, and it's a family affair. Actually, this is the first time in 20 years that a new panda has even entered the United States. The first new resident is Schurmann, and he has a legacy at the zoo. His mom was born there in 2007, and his grandma was one of the zoo's first 2 pandas. She lived there for over 20 years. The people are saying Schurmann is a true foodie and is focused on relaxing and enjoying his bamboo. Who could blame him? Schurmann also has a roommate with him. Tell us about her, Kelsey.
I sure will. Her name is Bao. She's almost 4 years old and is known for her intelligence and adventurous spirit. The hope is that these two can bring in the next generation of pandas and help restore what's known as panda diplomacy. Now, pandas are native to China, and the country has sent pandas around the world to strengthen its relationships with others and help with wildlife conservation.
China actually still owns the pandas and usually loans them out for 10-year terms at $1 million per year per pair of pandas.
That's expensive.
Yeah, some pricey pandas. This deal can be seen as a good thing because there's been increasing tensions between China and the US. China is an authoritarian state, which means the government controls almost everything. Here in the US, we're a democracy, and that means the people have a say by voting in how the government is run. But Schurmann and Bao give us hope that more pandas will be in zoos across America.
I want to keep talking about pandas. That iconic black and white fur is actually for camouflage. The white is for snowy habitats and the black is for shade. The wrist work of these pandas, now pandas have an extended wrist bone. They use it like a thumb to grip and grab food. Sticking on food, giant pandas spend 10 to 16 hours a day munching on mostly bamboo. They actually need at least 2 different species to avoid starvation because bamboo changes with the season. And like any true foodie, they eat more than one thing. Eggs, pumpkins, beans, and wheat can be their side dishes, but bamboo, that's always the main course. And a fun fact, a group of pandas is called an embarrassment. But do you know what would be really embarrassing? If you still haven't clicked the like and subscribe button yet.
Every time I see a story like this next one, I always think to myself, Larry, why don't you just sell everything you own and buy a dinosaur? Because there's nothing you can buy that would make you happier than that.
That doesn't make any sense. Dinosaurs are dead.
Well, then explain how someone just bought one for $44.6 million. Too much? Too much? Was I coming off too aggressive? Yeah, I was like, sorry, I didn't expect that reaction.
Just being,
oh, okay.
I was just acting.
I was like,
Sold. The fossil called Apex set a record for being the most expensive fossil ever sold at auction. That's my type of fossil.
Yeah, let me break down Stegosauruses for you. They lived in the Jurassic era and were herbivores, so they only ate plants. But they were known for being tough and tanky. They had big plates running down their backs and spiky tails, which they could use to defend themselves from predators.
Vegetarian dinosaurs.
But like defensive vegetarians.
Yeah, and the apex is 11 feet tall and 20 feet long. Now this dinosaur is old, so only about 70% of its skeleton is complete. The word apex means peak or highest point, hence the dino's name. Apex, the largest and most complete Stegosaurus ever discovered. And we know it died peacefully.
There are no bite marks or any other signs of a battle, so it's likely that it just died of old age.
It's also the first time any dinosaur fossil has ever been up for auction directly from discovery. And do you know what else I learned during this story, Kelsey?
I have no idea, but I know you're excited to share it.
I found out how to spell Stegosaurus. How do you think you spell it?
Stag, S-T-G.
You're already wrong. You missed a biggie on that one. Would you like to go again on that one?
No.
It's not Stegosaurus with an A. It's actually Stegosaurus, S-T-E-G-O, Saurus.
Good to know. Good to know. When I was young, I got my first goldfish at a fair. Well, Jaquan Irving, a Brooklyn, New York resident, got 100 goldfish for $16 at the local pet store and put them here in a puddle of a leaking fire hydrant.
The neighbors are calling it the Bed-Stuy Goldfish Pond in our video of the day. Dozens of orange fish are swimming below the shallow surface, and folks have added colored pebbles and even seashells to make it feel like a real fish tank.
Goldfish are pretty tough fish that can survive in a lot of environments, but stuff like the shallow water, pollution, and the predatory birds are of concern for these fish. I actually stopped by this weekend, to lay my eyes on it, and everybody was so happy about the fish. The pond is it's like this,
Okay.
It's like this big. It has not fruity pebbles, but pebbles.
That's actually, a lot of goldfish love fruity pebbles.
And it's a bunch of people in the neighborhood just watching over the fish, making sure they're good.
Next, we spoke to the star and director of a new movie called My Penguin Friend. And Kelsey, it's filled with real penguins. Roll the clip.
It's a penguin. His name should be Ding Ding.
The movie is out of a true story between a fisherman in Brazil who saved a penguin. The penguin came 8 years in a row visiting the fisherman after that. The penguin became his friend.
Why is a penguin in our home?
He needs our help.
What?
There are many interesting parts about working with penguins. Penguins can only work until 3 p.m. The reason being because penguins are morning animals. So in their instinct, they go out fishing in the morning, then midday they come back, and then by 3 o'clock they're zoning, they're not doing anything. So that meant that the whole film had to prioritize filming the penguins first. Another thing is every time you bring the penguin to set, the set has to be very quiet. There cannot be anyone on set apart from, the very essential people.
Don't do that. My goodness.
People have this idea they're fragile, but they're not at all. They're very, very tough animals. But they are prone to distractions. These are actually penguins that had either broken wings or, some challenges on their backs that if they go back to nature, they would die. We use them in the most respectful way and with a lot of people watching, making sure that they were safe and sound. The penguins were great. They did a lot of the scenes how we wanted them to do. But sometimes they did their own thing. So we had to go after them and we had to work with them. Just living and having them nearby on set was amazing.
Is he your pet?
Not my pet. He's my friend.
Those penguins you just saw are Magellanic penguins. And if it wasn't enough, Larry has even more about another kind of penguin.
Meet the chin-strap penguin. It's really good at napping. I'll be the judge of that. Let's see. It takes thousands of naps a day. Scientists tracked the penguins' brainwaves while they were dozing and recently published what they learned. They found that the chin-strap penguin's brainwaves slowed to a sleeping pattern for a few seconds, and then they woke up, only to fall back asleep again. The birds went through this pattern 600 times an hour. That is pro-level napping. In total, they sleep 11 hours a day. I'm lucky to get 8. That's a terrible ad-lib. Only on weekends. I don't know. Is there brainwaves twice in this? I'm zoning out. Hang on. The penguins were recorded over 11 days during their breeding season while they were guarding their babies on land. But why take so many naps instead of just one long sleep? It's because they've adapted to their environments. They can't get one long good sleep because they live in colonies or groups that are loud and cramped and, just listen to that. You try to sleep. And they're constantly watching out for their children so that they don't encounter predators who might want to eat them. They're basically always awake and asleep at the same time. Actually sounds pretty cool.
Larry, I'm asking you a lot of questions today.
Hit me.
What is the craziest thing you've ever bought your dog, Mosh?
Me? Nothing. My wife has bought her several jackets, and my dog owns a parka, and I'm not proud to admit that.
I would be proud to see Larry walk the dog in a parka. But you know what you need to get her next?
Oh, here it comes.
Her own smell. Luxury fashion brand Dolce & Gabbana wants your dog to wear perfume. It's called Fife, named after designer Domenico Dolce's real dog, and will set you back 99 euros or about $110. The scent smells like rose and jasmine. The perfume is alcohol-free, comes in a green bottle, topped with a red lid, sporting a 24-karat paw print on the front. If I read it like that, I would buy it. Okay.
Sold one bottle.
Oh, one bottle. Along with the bottle, you get a red collar. But before you save up all your coins and bones, here's what veterinarian Dr. Tori says.
I haven't smelled it yet, and I think it's a fun concept, but it's not great for our dog companions. Their sense of smell is their superpower. They use 100 million sensory receptors in their nose versus 6 million in humans. So their world is filtered through their nose. That's what they do. They smell everybody. So if a dog is sprayed with this perfume and they meet another dog that was a friend, or even their housemate, that might diminish their ability to use those smelling superpowers to detect those important things.
So we want to know, would you get perfume for your dog? What's the craziest thing you've ever done for a pet? What kind of jacket does your dog wear? Tell us at hi@firststopnews.com, and we'll see you next week.
You're asking me to do math. You're asking me to spelling.
I'm just grilling you this episode. Sorry, you're right.
Trying to read.
Live your life.
Thank you.